certainly is, and I must say I'm really impressed with Select Drive.
Mother, guess what? We're going for a ride in a 1978 Gremlin.
I'd like to get in and just drive it away.
Isn't it remarkable how the automotive titans of the past have transformed into today's legendary icons? These brands have shaped the automotive industry, from luxury sedans to muscle cars. As we explore the dynamic history of these vehicles, let's discuss the industry's relentless evolution and the poignant decline of some beloved car models. Join us as we examine 13 famous car brands that no longer exist. Number 1. Packard. Packard was once a premier brand for luxury vehicles. It was founded in the automotive era of 1899. Packard was known for its engineering excellence and rich design. Their cars were usually the choice of celebrities and business people. By the late 1950s, significant changes started in the automobile industry landscape. The company needed help to keep up with the post-war market, as it was dominated by brands offering more affordable models.
This brilliant new 53 Packard all but drives itself, thanks to 3 Packard advancements for easier car control.
Despite being a luxury car, it couldn't compete with the other 3 big names at that time: GM, Ford, and Chrysler. These companies were rapidly innovative and scaling their operations wildly. The gross income for the company was $21,889,000 in 1928. The average price of a Packard car was $103,980. The Packard Motor Company built 400 vehicles between 1899 and 1903 at their factory in Warren, Ohio. The first Packard, the Model A, was produced in 1899, and only 5 were made. The Model B was produced from 1900 to 1901. In 1958, after years of declining sales and financial issues, Packard stopped producing more automobiles. The company was simply unable to bounce back after the World War II era. The 1958 Packard automotive designs were among the most disliked of the 1950s. Their last automobile rolled into the market quietly and ended the era. Next, we'll look at Studebaker, another industry titan whose wheels have stopped turning. Number 2. Studebaker. Founded in 1852, Studebaker began as a manufacturer of wagons. These wagons were typically used by farmers, miners, and the military. It was later transitioned to the automotive business in the 20th century.
America's first complete line of family sports cars. Now, from Studebaker alone, sports cars that the entire family can enjoy.
Studebaker was known for its robust engineering and innovative designs, which helped it build a loyal customer base. Models like the Studebaker Commander and the Avanti symbolize the brand's commitment to unique style and performance. Despite being famous for its style, Studebaker faced financial difficulties as competition intensified. The average price of a Studebaker is $28,770. Studebaker's annual sales were raised to $350,000. The company produced 4.2 million vehicles during its prime era. Studebaker struggled with quality problems and poor sales in 1953. It also faced tough competition from the Big Three, which entered the compact car market a year after its production. The company merged with Packard in 1954, but it was not successful. Production ceased in 1963. In 1966, Studebaker rolled down the streets before completely disappearing in 1967. In our next segment, we'll explore Plymouth, another famous brand that drove into the sunset. Number 3. Plymouth. Plymouth was established by Chrysler in 1928. It was made to offer affordable, stylish vehicles. Plymouth became famous for its popular models such as the Fury, Barracuda, and Voyager. These cars were relatively new for that era and introduced many new features.
This is the luxurious 4-door sedan. Isn't the new grille beautiful? Everything about this new Plymouth is years ahead.
Plymouth comes in various prices ranging from $12,715 to $44,225. The total production of the Plymouth cars was 108,546. More than 7,912 two-door cars were made, while 10,830 four-door vehicles were produced. In the early 20th century, Plymouth attracted a loyal following with its blend of reliability and affordability. It offered unique designs that made it stand out from the competitors. With the passing years, the brand needed help with identity within the Chrysler Corporation. Plymouth sales declined gradually in the 1990s when Chrysler shifted its focus towards the more profitable Jeep and Dodge divisions. The brand briefly resurged in the mid-90s with the introduction of the Plymouth Prowler, a retro-styled roadster. The car was eventually discontinued because of poor sales. Only 12,000 Prowlers were sold. In 2001, Chrysler officially discounted the Plymouth brand to focus on its remaining divisions. Now let's talk about Oldsmobile, one of the oldest car brands in America. Number 4. Oldsmobile. Founded in 1897 by Ransom E. Olds, this brand was a beginner in the automotive industry.
This is the famous design of Oldsmobile's Cutlass Supreme. It's one big reason why more mid-sized car buyers chose Cutlass over the last 4 years than any other car.
Oldsmobile introduced the assembly line even before Ford popularized it. It brought us the first mass-produced high-compression overhead valve V8 engine in the 1949 Rocket 88, considered one of the first muscle cars. It successfully combined performance with luxury, evident in models like the Cutlass. Cutlass became America's best-selling car in the 1970s. Oldsmobile was also the first to offer a fully automatic transmission, the Hydra-matic drive, revolutionizing the automotive market. In its 107 years of existence, Oldsmobile's made 35.2 million cars. The company made over 1 million annually.
The new Rambler is a revelation. It's a car that turns in the shortest space of all. A car that parks easily where others dare not try. A car that steps away from traffic with lightning ease.
In the 1990s, the brand struggled with a changing market. It couldn't maintain its distinct identity because of growing competition. In 2004, Oldsmobile was phased out by General Motors for a broader restructuring plan to cut costs and focus on competitive brands. The last Oldsmobile, an Alero model, marked the end of an era. Stay tuned as we shift gears and look at another iconic brand in our next segment. Number 5. Hudson. Hudson Motor Car Company was established in 1909 in Detroit, Michigan. It was named after its primary investor, Joseph L. Hudson, a department store entrepreneur. Hudson was known for its engineering and stylish designs. In the 1930s, Hudson introduced the Terraplane line. It became famous for its relatively powerful engines and was famed for reliability. In the 1940s and the 50s, Hudson introduced the Hudson Hornet, which dominated early NASCAR racing. Its revolutionary step-down design ruled the racing industry. This design offered a lower center of gravity and enhanced handling. These attributes made it a force on the racetrack. In its prime era, Hudson and Essex made more than 300,000 cars in just 1 year. The net income of the brand was reported to be around just over $8 million. Hudson faced challenges as the automotive industry shifted post-World War II era. The smaller automakers struggled against the big three, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. Hudson needed major redesigns and modernization, but its sales declined through the early 1950s, and the high cost of updating facilities and designs further drained the company's finances. To survive, Hudson merged with Nash Kelvinator in 1954 to form the American Motors Corporation, or AMC. This merger marked the beginning of the end for Hudson as a distinct brand. By 1957, the Hudson name was phased out as AMC shifted its focus towards its other brands. AMC blended Hudson's technology and designs into broader product lines. Moving on in our series of iconic car brands that have faded into history, we spotlight the American Motors Corporation. Number 6. American Motors Corporation, or AMC. American Motors Corporation was formed in 1954 through the merger of the Nash Kelvinator and Hudson Motor Car Company. It was one of the significant U.S. automakers outside the Big Three.
Introducing the 1973 Hornet hatchback, a tough, new, sporty compact built by American Motors. Nothing disturbs the flight of the Hornet.
AMC made a name for itself by focusing on smaller, more fuel-efficient vehicles. It was in contrast with the larger models typically offered by its competitors. AMC is best remembered for the Rambler and its role in popularizing compact cars in the United States. The company's strategy of focusing on more economical cars paid off during the oil crises of the 1970s. It boosted the popularity of its models like the AMC Gremlin, Hornet, and Pacer. These were all innovative designs noted for their aesthetics. AMC recorded an earning of $68.1 million in 1979. AMC sold over 74,420 cars in America. GSA bought 8,700 cars from AMC for $30 million. AMC faced numerous challenges, including changing demand for smaller cars and competition from both domestic and foreign manufacturers. Financial difficulties led to a partnership with Renault in 1979. This partnership provided much-needed capital and an infusion of new models, but the partnership couldn't maintain the brand's fortunes for long. In 1987, the Chrysler Corporation saw an opportunity and acquired AMC primarily for its profitable Jeep division and manufacturing facilities. This acquisition marked the end of AMC as an independent entity, with its remaining car models either discontinued or incorporated into Chrysler's lineup, effectively ending the legacy of a company known for its willingness to innovate and defy industry norms. Now let's go through the story of DeSoto, often cited as a case of poor corporate strategy. Number 7. DeSoto. DeSoto was established by the Chrysler Corporation in 1928. It was named after the Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto.
The time has come, it's very clear. The car you've wanted is really here. It's delightful, it's lovely, it's DeSoto.
The company aimed to compete in the mid-price market segment. Over the years, it became known for its stylish vehicles and progressive features. From the 1930s to the 1950s, DeSoto offered models that featured cutting-edge technology, such as airflow aerodynamics and the introduction of push-button transmissions. These cars were notably recognized for their impressive designs and luxurious look at a mid-range price. This made them popular among American consumers who sought value and style. Its annual revenue was $1 million. DeSoto made over 2 million cars and trucks in its 32 years. In the earlier post-war era, DeSoto's fortunes began to decline. Several factors contributed to its downfall. The brand overlap within Chrysler Corporation made DeSoto compete against its siblings, especially as Dodge vehicles moved upmarket. The new models didn't resonate with the public, leading to an eventual sales decline. The recession in 1958 badly impacted DeSoto, further increasing the brand's loss of market share. The final blow came in 1961 when Chrysler discontinued DeSoto due to falling sales and restructuring. The last DeSoto rolled off the assembly line on November the 30th of 1960. This marked the end of a brand that had been a vibrant part of Chrysler's portfolio for over 3 decades. In our next turn, Mercury is a not-so-luxurious luxury that all could afford. Number 8. Mercury. Mercury was established in 1938 by Edsel Ford, son of Henry Ford. It was a premium brand within the Ford family, positioned between the everyday Ford models and the luxurious Lincoln. The brand provided an upscale yet affordable vehicle option, catering to consumers seeking luxury without the Lincoln price tag.
Introducing Mercury Mariner. Save yourself the hassle. Get 2.
Mercury was known for its distinct designs and appeal to middle-class demographics. It was the top choice for those who desired both performance and comfort. The brand achieved popularity with several models, including the Cougar, the Comet, and the Marquis. These cars have become iconic symbols of American towns. The brand sold over 263,200 cars in 2002. It sold 92,000 vehicles before going to decline. Mercury began to struggle by the 1990s. The brand's identity blurred as Ford merged its product lines across its divisions. This led to Mercury being perceived as a rebranded, higher-priced version of Ford models without any differences. The decision to discontinue Mercury came in 2010 as part of Ford's focus on its core brands Ford and Lincoln. The financial crisis of 2008 made it essential to form a more efficient approach. Mercury's declining sales no longer justified its continuation. The last Mercury was a Grand Marquis, which rolled off the production line in January of 2011. This marked an end to a 72-year history. Following up, there's Edsel, the short-lived marketing disaster. Number 9. Edsel. In 1957, Ford introduced the Edsel, named after Edsel Ford, the son of Ford's founder. This car is often remembered not for its performance or design, but for its commercial failure.
This is the Edsel, as its graceful flight deck and classic vertical grille suggest. It is elegant in every detail.
It became a classic case study in market misjudgment and the risk of launching a new car brand. The Edsel was developed to fill a perceived gap between Ford and Mercury and to compete directly with giants like GM and Chrysler. Ford's investment in Edsel was massive, reportedly exceeding $400 million. That's over $2 billion in today's money. The company created a massive buildup before Edsel's release with a campaign that promised to be one of the most revolutionary cars ever. When the Edsel was finally revealed, the public's reaction was lukewarm. The car's design was met with mixed reviews, particularly the horse collar or toilet seat grille. The vehicle was mocked for how it looked. The Edsel arrived right as the U.S. entered a recession, further complicating its launch. Consumers turned to smaller, more economical cars. This was a market segment where Edsel did not compete. Edsel's sales suffered significantly due to rush production, which led to quality control issues and confusion surrounding its brand positioning. By 1960, just 3 years after its debut, Ford discontinued the Edsel. The brand had lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and only about 118,000 Edsels were sold. The car made no profit at all. The Edsel remains synonymous with a business failure due to misreading market conditions and consumers' desires, serving as a cautionary tale in the automotive industry. Next, we'll discuss Pontiac, best known for its sporty look and powerful engines. Number 10. Pontiac. Pontiac was established in 1926 as General Motors' expensive line of Oakland automobiles. Pontiac quickly surpassed its parent brand in popularity and became a standalone symbol in GM's lineup. The cars were specifically known for their sporty image and powerful engine. These cars were very appealing to the youth of that era. The brand became famous for its models like the GTO. It was often considered the first muscle car that first debuted in 1964. It featured a powerful V8 engine, aggressive styling, and performance-oriented marketing. This was followed by other popular models like the Firebird and the Trans Am, which became cultural icons because of their appearances in movies. Pontiac's sales declined in the 1990s as consumer preferences shifted towards more economical and reliable vehicles. The brand's identity diminished as GM merged its attributes with other divisions. This made it less distinguishable from those of its sibling brands. The brand sells 850,000 cars in 1984 alone. GM generated record revenue of $178 billion. General Motors has faced controversies like the ignition switch recall involving Pontiac models. This was linked to multiple deaths and criticized for delayed response from the company. In 2008, GM announced discontinuing the Pontiac brand as part of a restructuring effort following its bankruptcy.
Today marks the last day of an American icon. The Pontiac Motor Division is no more.
The last Pontiac rolled off the production line in 2010, marking the end of an era for the storied American brand. Pontiac's closure was part of GM's strategy to focus on fewer brands and to recover from financial difficulties. Do you recall the pioneering brand that established the benchmarks for all future automobiles? Number 11. Nash. Nash was another brand that became part of AMC. It was known for its innovative features and compact designs, which disappeared in the mid-1950s. Nash Motors was founded in 1916 by former General Motors executive Charles Nash. He was an American automobile manufacturer known for his unique and compact designs. Nash carved its position in the market by attracting middle-class buyers who sought new features and quality. Introduced in 1950, the Nash Rambler was vital as it was the first American compact car market.
Other features that make the 1956 Nash cars attractive to rod and gun sportsmen or to anyone who likes the outdoors. That's why Nash would be happy if you'd see the cars they make and drive them.
This model catered to consumers looking for a smaller, more economical vehicle when most American cars were large. The Rambler's success helped redefine market segments in the United States and pointed towards a shift in consumer preferences. The Nash was also ahead of its time in offering features like seat belts and compact unibody designs, which later became industry standards. Their emphasis on automotive safety and progression resonated with an increasingly safety-conscious post-war America. The brand made approximately 95,000 cars per year. Nash struggled to compete with the larger automakers and was merged into American Motors Corporation, AMC, in 1954. The Nash name was gradually phased out as AMC focused on strengthening the Rambler brand, which had gained a strong identity and market presence. Nash's legacy is marked by its pioneering efforts in automotive safety, compact cars, and unibody construction, setting a foundation that would influence the industry for decades. Buckle up as we get into our next ride, Eagle, known for its sporty look. Number 12, Eagle. Chrysler introduced Eagle in 1988 after it acquired American Motors Corporation, or AMC. The brand was marketed for car buyers who love sporty, European-style vehicles. Eagle was launched with a marketing tagline, "Taking flight from the ordinary." The brand made its debut with several rebadged models inherited from AMC. This also included the continuation of the AMC Eagle, one of the first crossover vehicles. The Eagle consisted of an existing AMC design developed in collaboration with Renault, which became the flagship model. It was intended to set the standard for the brand with its advanced engineering and spacious interior, positioned as a direct competitor to European imports.
We're introducing the first new North American car brand in 30 years, Eagle. This is Eagle Premier. European styling, aerodynamically it rivals the world's finest sedans.
Eagle struggled to carve out a distinct identity within Chrysler's broad lineup. The brand's offering were similar to those of Dodge and Plymouth, which led to consumer confusion and a lack of brand loyalty. Many of the Eagle dealerships were former AMC dealers who were more experienced and comfortable selling Jeep vehicles. More than 115,699 cars were sold in 1997, and more than $118,973 were made yearly. Eagle's journey ended in 1999, a little over a decade after it launched. Chrysler decided to discontinue Eagle as part of a broader corporate restructuring. The sales never met the set expectations and had a poor marketing strategy. Now, who recalls the car that traveled from British markets to the American market? Number 13, Triumph. Triumph was originally a British automobile brand established in Coventry, England. Triumph was celebrated for producing distinctive vehicles that showed the spirit of British engineering and style.
If you're thinking about buying a Triumph Spitfire, because it's a national racing champion, don't be contemptuous of those who buy it for its Michelati styling.
Triumph's journey in the automotive industry began with the launch of the Triumph 2000 in the 1960s. It was a mid-sized executive car that directly competed with models from Rover. It was praised for its refinement and performance, establishing Triumph as a reputable brand in the UK and overseas markets, including the USA. The brand's reputation for sports cars was particularly further developed with models like the Triumph Spitfire and the TR6, becoming icons of British automotive culture. Triumph made almost 30,000 cars. The brand's annual worth was $1.58 billion. Triumph faced numerous challenges in the 1970s, including financial difficulties and the changing dynamics of the global auto industry. The oil crisis and increasingly strict regulations in the United States, a key market for Triumph, added to these challenges. Triumph's parent company, British Leyland, struggled with industrial conflicts and poor quality control, which eventually affected the brand's reputation and sales. In 1984, the economic pressures and internal competition within British Leyland led to the decision to discontinue the Triumph Marquis. The last model was produced the same year, marking the end of Triumph's storied presence in the automotive industry.